All right, final part. 5 more problems to go. The one thing to keep in mind is the extraneous solutions. Again, when you get an extraneous solution, you're going to figure this out by taking what you solved x to be, putting it back in, and seeing if you get the actual equation to work. Does the left side equal the right side? So the first thing I'm going to do on 36, I can't get to the x in here until that square root is gone, so I'm going to square both sides. So square the left side, I just get x plus 42. Square the right side, I get x squared. Since I have two different types of x, I got to bring everything over to one side. And then I'm going to factor. So if you look, I'm making that x a times c, negative 42. B is negative 1. So my factors are going to be negative 7 and 6. And then I can go into my parentheses x minus 7, which will give me 7, and x plus 6, which will give me negative 6. Now, I just want to double check that, to see if either 7 or 6 is an extraneous solution. So just going up to the original problem, first I'm going to put 7 in. All right, so I'm going to put 7 in. When I put 7 in for this x, I'll end up taking the square root of 49, which is 7. So 7 works. That gets to go in the x spot. Now I'm going to do this again, but this time I'm going to put negative 6 in. So if I put negative 6 in, negative 6 plus 42 is 36, and the square root of 36, I'm only going to say 6. I know that when we've talked in the past that the square root of 36 is 6 and negative 6, but that's only when we solve for x. When you evaluate, just go with what the calculator says. So the calculator would tell me that the square root of 36 is 6, and according to this side, it's supposed to be negative 6, so we're going to count that as an extraneous solution. So I'm going to put that here and just put the 7 in the x spot. All right, number 37. To get the x by itself, I'm going to have to cube both sides. The left side just becomes x minus 7, and when I take 3 and cube it, I get 27. One quick step, add 7, and I get x to be 34. So to see if it's extraneous, again, I'm going to go back to the original problem. I'm going to put 34 in. 34 minus 7 is 27, and the cube root of 27 is 3. So nothing is extraneous, just the 34. All right, 38. First thing I'm going to do to get the x by itself is I'm going to move the 3. So I'm going to divide by 3 first, which turns 48 into 16. And now to get rid of the 3/4 power, I'm going to take it to the 3/4 power, both sides. So the left side just becomes x plus 1. And what I want you guys to realize is I'm going to rewrite this as a radical so you see it better. It's the 4th root. And the 4th root of 16 is not only 2, but it's also negative 2. And I will be cubing both of those to get x by itself. So what I'm going to do, though, is real quick just bring the 1 over. So 2 cubed is 8, negative 2 cubed is negative 8. And then I'll bring the 1 over through subtracting. So when I'm done, I'll have 8 minus 1, so I'll get 7. And then negative 8 minus 1, and I'll get negative 9. And again, I want to check to see, are these extraneous or not? So the first thing I'm going to do is test 7. I'm going to put 7 in here. 7 plus 1 is 8. Again, I'm going to rewrite this as a radical. So 8, the cubed root of 8 is 2, and then I'm supposed to take that 2 to the 4th power, and I'll get 16. And now I'm going to take the 16 times this 3, and when I'm done, I do get the 48. So 7 works. And now I'm going to do the same with the negative 9. So I'm going to put negative 9 in. Negative 9 plus 1 is negative 8. This time it's going to be the cubed root of negative 8, which is negative 2. But when I take negative 2 to the 4th power, I get positive 16. And then 16 times 3 is also 48. So both of them work here. No extraneous solutions on 38. All right, last two. 39, to get the x by itself, again, I'm going to have to square both sides. So when I square the left side, I'm just left with x squared plus 5. But then I'm going to square this side. And again, I don't just square the 3 and the x. It means 3 minus x times 3 minus x. So foiling that, I assume you guys know how to do that, so I'm going to quickly do that. Um, the x squareds cancel out. I'm going to bring the 9 over to join the 5. And then when I'm done, I get 4/6, which is the same as 2/3. And now I'm going to see if that's extraneous or not. So I'm going to move this down just a little bit. I'm going to put the 2/3 in. So I'm going to take the square root of 2/3 squared, and I'm going to take that times 5 and see if when I'm done, if that's the same as 3 minus 2/3. So let's go ahead and do that. Without a calculator, 2/3 squared is 4/9. I'm going to turn this into a common denominator. So right now, 5 over 1, if I turn that into a common denominator with 9, becomes 45 over 9. And so when I'm done, I get 49 over 9. And again, this is all in the square root. So I'm going to take the square root of both of those and get 7 over 3. And now I'm going to go over here and take 3 minus 2/3. 3 minus 2/3 is just 2 and 1/3. And if you guys remember mixed numbers and improper fractions, 3 times 2 is 6, 6 plus 1 is 7, so when I'm done I get 7/3. So yes, this works. It is an actual solution. 2/3 will go here, no extraneous solutions. All right, last one. Similar to the one before, my goal is to get the x by itself, so I'm going to square this side, which just gives me x plus 7. And then I'm going to square this side, which really means x plus 1 times x plus 1. So I'm going to FOIL that. I see I have two different types of x's, so the x and the 7 are going to join the other side. So I'll get x squared plus x plus negative 6. So I'm going to factor. A times c goes here, b goes here, and my two side numbers are going to be 3 and negative 2. So when I set up my parentheses, I'll have x plus 3. That'll give me negative 3. And x minus 2, which will give me 2. And now to see if they're extraneous, I'm going to take them both, put them back in to the original equation, and I'll start with 3. So, or I'm sorry, negative 3. So when I put negative 3 in here, I end up getting 4, and the square root of 4 is 2. On this side, when I put negative 3 in here, I get negative 2. So again, square roots, I know we're supposed to have positive and negative, but that's only when we solve for x, not evaluate. Plug in and get my answer. So I'm going to put negative 3 in the extraneous solutions categories. Now I'm going to check to see if 2 works. So if I put 2 in, 2 plus 7 is 9, square root of 9 is 3, and if I put 2 in here, I also get 3. So 3 works. It gets to become a solution. And that's it. Have the review done. We will assess on Thursday then.